Hello and welcome to All Talk, the Geekbox Forums community podcast. This is episode 16 for the week of May 21st, 2012. This week we talk about Diablo III, canceled TV shows, and this week's Moviebox pick, Where's the Party Yaar? Hello and welcome to All Talk, the Geekbox Forums community podcast. This is episode 15. Nope, that 16. Was last week. This is episode 16. And I am Dakazu from the forums. Who is with me this week?
Mr. X.
RobotGoggle.
And Totoro.
Welcome back, Bobby Goggles.
Glad to be back.
I'm going to refer to you as Bobby Goggles.
That's fine by me.
That is what we call you. I don't know where we got that, but that's just stuck.
Oh, I can.
I'm gonna call you Phil.
That's almost my name, but whatever.
Okay, Bill.
Starts with a W.
Will.
Yep.
Jill.
Is your last name Smith?
I wish.
Can you just say for me, "Welcome to Earth"?
Welcome to Earth.
Are you currently getting jiggy with it?
Na.
Okay, we better.
Okay, let's move on.
I was gonna say, or else we're gonna have to pay someone some royalties.
We are going to talk about. Let's see. We're gonna start off with Diablo 3 because that came out this week.
I heard it's a game.
We've all been playing it.
I like it. It is my first Diablo. I like it a lot.
Yep.
Also, my first Diablo. Pretty good game.
Also,
I think it's way better than.
Diablo.
I think it's way better than Titan Quest. Bieldo. I think Diablo 3 is way better than Titan Quest.
I like it better than Torchlight 1.
I kind of feel that if Torchlight was longer and had multiplayer, then I would like it just as much.
Torchlight 2?
2, yeah, exactly.
Let's specify again. I mean, let's just not specify. Let's clarify again that I'm the only one who has played both Diablo and Diablo 2 before playing this.
Yes.
Yep.
It has been specified.
There is a lot of talk about what is better. I don't think it's a matter of what is better. It's all about what is different. And there's a lot of things that are different.
But being different doesn't make something worse.
Or better.
Depends.
Different is different.
Yes. But I feel like some of the changes are really good, and some of the changes I don't like.
Are we going to be arguing about the stupid skills again?
No, I'm just going to say that I still don't prefer that skill system. We already said our piece when we were talking about the beta, so we don't need to rehash that. I can't talk about how I like the instance loot.
Yeah, how we don't steal. There's no loot stealing. That's pretty great.
I like that.
Apparently the money, I thought the money was shared before, but I guess it wasn't, so I guess the instance money is also good.
It is. I wish the radius was kind of bigger so you wouldn't have to run all the way over to every little thing.
Well, there are items for that, they increase your pickup radius.
Yeah, and I will eventually get a ferret for the demon hunter that will just go out and collect all the gold for me.
And before this game, you actually had to click on every piece of gold in the previous games.
That's
as opposed to just run over them, which this game does. Smart choice.
Path of Exile just didn't have gold. That's how it solved the problem.
Yeah, that was weird.
Well, this is what Torchlight did to pick up gold as well.
You had your pet, right? Your animal?
Well, no, you have a little area that you could run through, and if you got close, and I almost feel like it did a better job of if you got close, it would pick it up. It seems like with Diablo 3 that maybe it's a little bit more finicky.
I like how they decided to modernize the portal system. A lot of games since Diablo 2 have changed. Like Titan Quest had its own portal button as opposed to using scrolls for portals. Same with this one.
I'm a big fan of
Go ahead.
Big fan of there being no more portal scrolls and/or identify item scrolls.
Do you know what's weird about that though? If there is no identify item scrolls, then why do you pick up items that aren't identified? All you have to do is click on them.
Yeah. Well,
That's a good question.
For me, because when I played through Torchlight, it had identify scrolls and it had town portal scrolls, but you could eventually just like, especially for the apprentice who was the magic user, you could get like spells that would replace those for you. So I don't know about the other classes. I never went and played through with those, but
Do you think that when you're identifying it, it's like randomizing the stats on it? Like first there's a random drop, and then when you identify it, randomizes the attributes that it has? Could that be?
that's possible. I mean,
Well, usually, yeah, that might be the case. I mean, it's hard to tell. I'm sure
I
it's
don't
written
know.
down somewhere.
Maybe.
see, I always wondered if that's what like Valve did with TF2 crates. Not to completely go off, but anytime that there's an unknown quantity, and especially in a game or something to where there's you have to be online for the most part to use it.
Right.
I've always wondered, is this something that's completely randomized at the time that I say okay, identify this or open this.
But with the crates, that works because you get the crate, but you actually have to pay money for the keys, right?
Right.
In Diablo 3, you get the random item, and it says a question mark, and then you just click it.
Right. Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying is I wonder if the item is set at the time that you pick it up or at the time you get the crate, and then when you uncrate it or when you identify it, kind of going back to what X was saying, at that point, is everything randomized or is it the item selected at that point?
I've been thinking maybe like the rare items are like doubly random. So
Yeah,
first it's a
exactly.
random drop and then a random stat attribute.
I'm sure
Maybe.
it's written somewhere.
Maybe. Who knows?
No, just curious.
Blizzard. I bet Blizzard knows.
The banner system, where being able to warp to each other is really nice.
That is pretty nice. It makes it really easy if you go off by yourself and you want to get back to the group, you can just teleport back to town and then click on the banner and then bam, you're right with them.
Yeah, nothing slows you down more in a game like this than people being like, I need to go back to town. My inventory's full. I want to keep going, but I need to go back.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal.
I really like that there's no loading screens.
Do you think that is in part of it being you're connected to the server?
Well,
Maybe.
you still need to...
Well, there's loading screens in Path of Exile, and that's connected to a server.
Well, and you would need to have... even if you were pulling stuff down, you would still have to pull that down from the server.
Okay, so that's just to streamline how they did with their loading. Yeah, it's great. No loading is great.
Yeah, until you mentioned it just now, I didn't even notice, but yeah, there's no loading except right in the beginning.
It's a little choppy when you jump in at the moment because everything is loading in, but yeah, in general, there's no loading. That's nice. What's not nice is having to connect to the internet. I think that's a big con against this game.
It's a big pain in the ass to do that, and at the same time, I feel like I understand why they did it. But,
yeah.
Well, yeah, because of the real money auction house is probably their biggest reason for doing it.
Yeah, and then kind of in the same vein, I know that Diablo II especially had a lot of problems with item hacking.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're going to be hacking items and then you can sell it for real money, I mean, that kind of breaks the whole system.
But it's still an inconvenience,
Well, I'm always online anyway when I play, so it doesn't affect me really, but I can see how it would affect some people.
What if someone had it on their laptop, and they were on an airplane and they wanted to play?
I was exactly getting ready to bring that up, when I go out, and because I'm traveling a little bit more for work, if I'm on an airplane and I want to play a little bit of Diablo.
Don't some planes now have Wi-Fi?
Some, but it's
You're probably going to have to pay for it.
At least $10 a flight.
Also, we live in assuming everyone here is from America. America's kind of a big country, and there's still a lot of places where, there's a lot of places where there's still an internet connection, but it's not the best. A good friend of mine, he's originally from up in northern Vermont, and he had a computer, and he would play a lot of Diablo 2, and if he still lived there, he'd have a really difficult time being able to play Diablo 3.
Well, I don't know if they say you need like broadband internet. You just need internet connection to verify your account and everything. Although it might need broadband.
Well, even with the internet, it's annoying because there's a latency issue. Like I know it's launch week, And I know like the first day we had major problems with connecting, and then like we'd be playing and be like, "Hey, the server's gonna shut down in 5 minutes. Sorry." And now it's not that bad, but there's still a lag issue.
I haven't had any issues really like that. I mean, there was like the second day when they were saying the server's going to go down in 5 minutes, and then it was down for like 2 minutes and it come back up. But yeah, I haven't really had any issues. And as far as latency goes, I mean, is this the type of game where you really need to have a low ping?
A little bit. I mean, definitely you need something better than 300 milliseconds.
I'd say it's not noticeable. I mean, are any of us in Nightmare mode or Inferno? I mean, I've started Nightmare mode, but I've heard from some people that once you really get up into Hell mode and Inferno mode, every point counts.
Yeah, well, right now we're just. I mean, I assume that everybody's just playing on the normal default settings right now, because you have to unlock all that stuff, right, after you finish it.
Right, but I've also heard that I don't know. I've heard 60 to 70% or some wild number of the of the actual full-on loot in the game you get at Nightmare mode or above.
Yeah, that I mean, yeah, but I mean, right now we're just playing on normal. But yeah, I mean, I can see the latency definitely being a problem when you're playing on the harder difficulties. But right now, I mean, I haven't really noticed it.
Well, it's because of your class.
Could be. I just stand back and shoot things.
I notice it a lot more especially when I'm playing solo. It seems like, and I am trying to contend with, a small mob of enemies, and if my character is squishy enough that if I don't, start, every little second counts for me, because I don't have, my armor's not good enough, to really repel a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I actually just remembered that towards the end of Act 3, towards the end of Act 3, there are these demons. They're green and they just kind of explode and do a bunch of...
Exploding demons in Act 3?
Really?
Yeah, they're these small little demons. They just kind of explode and do a ton of elemental damage, and I didn't have any elemental resistance. And I remember running back from them and just letting them try to blow up and destroy the follower I had. But then I got a bit of lag and they completely killed me.
Oh.
Well, I guess there is no pausing either if you're always online, even by yourself.
Yeah, it still doesn't pause, especially if you're, in battle or something.
Yeah, the other day I went AFK for a second. I came back and I was dead. You guys were there. Well,
yep.
At least Dakazu was. I think Totoro.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
A lot of people on the forums are playing, and a lot of people have been jumping onto Mumble and joining us, and I think that's nice.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been one of the few things that we've had, even that we've had much of a participation doing it, as a community. I really like the drop in, drop out kind of quality of it. Especially compared to something like Borderlands.
Yeah.
Well, I still think that my other complaint is the limited class size. I wish we could have parties of 8, like in Diablo 2.
Oh, you mean the limited party size?
Yeah, party size, not class size. Sorry.
No. Yeah, that would definitely make it a lot more fun, because it would be really fun. Because I think it was maybe Thursday night you guys started playing, and I was like, well, I wouldn't mind jumping in for about an hour or something, but you had a full party, and I was like, screw it.
Well, I mean, we were playing, and there was Jen, Rodney, Dakazu, me, you, Bob, and Lemon. So we had enough to fill up a couple games.
Yeah.
Yeah, Biggie's also playing. Top Hazard jumped in. He's playing.
And we were all on, but we couldn't all play together because it's only 4 players. It's kind of annoying.
That just reminds me that I really hope for, a good sized, party in something like Borderlands.
I don't think that's happening.
I think it's just 4. But wasn't Diablo 2 8?
Diablo 2 is 8. And you could have a follower with you. So technically you had 16 people running around.
I think it should be at least 5, so you can have one from each class.
That would make sense.
That would.
I don't know if they did it as a full balancing thing or whatever, or they had a problem with, connections or I have no idea. I guess it could be any kind of decision, but I don't like it. I wish we had bigger parties.
So far I'm only on Act 2, and I believe that's where you guys, except Goggle, I guess, are. And so I've only seen the 2 CG cutscenes, but I really wish Blizzard would just make CG movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the World of Warcraft movie directed by Sam Raimi?
I
I
have
think
no
that's
idea.
still in production.
Could be.
Maybe it got canceled.
Maybe
Which
he's
would-
making Drag Me to Hell 2.
Maybe. But maybe it got canceled, and that would be a good transition into our other topic. As long as you guys are done talking about Diablo.
Diablo was good.
Just talking about that, the movie stuff makes me think. What I really want is a Half-Life movie directed by Neil Blomkamp, the guy who did District 9.
I think Gabe Newell should direct it with knives.
Knives are everywhere. But
So, then that's it. We can move on.
TV shows
Yeah,
that have
that's
been
good.
canceled.
and just general stuff that's been canceled.
Well,
yeah,
I'm
Totoro wanted to talk about this because what got
heartbroken.
canceled?
I am heartbroken because I was watching Alcatraz and I really liked it, and it got canceled.
I only watched a couple episodes. I thought it was okay-ish.
I don't know. There was just something that I just really liked because I mean, not only
it
did
Hurley?
you have it had Hurley. I was actually, I don't know. There were just the whole show kind of really appealed to me. But yeah, Hurley definitely was a big part of it. But yeah, that got canceled, and then they've canceled Awake, which I'll admit that I haven't had opportunity to watch like the past few episodes of. But you know, I really love the concept of that, and
Yeah, I heard it was great, but it was also like the lowest rated show on TV.
well, and that just makes me weep for the American television viewing public because it was so inventive and you know just
Well, the thing I
I-
have to wonder about is how much of it is, how much of that is just people don't want to watch it, and how much of it is people aren't watching it on TV but online, like via Hulu or Netflix or the Go version of said channel or whatever.
Well, they don't really count that in because they can't get ad sales, so that doesn't really affect them canceling shows or not.
well they do have ads on Hulu, so
I mean, iTunes might affect it a little more because you have to
but
pay
they
for
still
that.
get money from that.
But some people have ad blocker.
Well, but they still get money through iTunes sales.
Yeah, I know.
And
I mean,
I don't think there's
iTunes, I
any
think,
way-
would affect it more than I'm saying like Hulu or something.
Well, and I don't think that I don't think you can actually block ads on Hulu as far as like the ones where they come up and say, the following production is presented by, XYZ, because it actually comes through Hulu, and occasionally they'll actually, ask you about, would you like to see more ads like this or fewer ads like this and things like that.
Right.
But no, I really dug Awake. It was just a really interesting concept, and Jason Isaacs plays it brilliantly. Wilmer Valderrama is in that show, and so is Steve Harris. They both play his partner, in each dream world. But I don't know. It's just I just always get the feeling that I really hate it getting into shows, in the first season because you never know if they're going to be canceled or not, and it seems like if I like something, it may go on for a season, maybe two if I'm lucky sometimes. It seems rare that I get to watch a show for, several seasons.
Well, one of my favorite shows, Supernatural, just got picked up for its 8th season.
Screw you.
Suck it.
But,
So are you upset that Hater on the CW was canceled?
yes.
Do you know what it is?
No, I don't.
It was a reality show where people that leave comments about celebrities, like on sites and stuff, they would be confronted by the celebrity that they're talking about. And it looked
Stop.
awful.
Stop. Let's stop talking about this.
Just awful.
Let's
I
just
am
move
glad that is canceled. So,
Considering that the 8 part of Hater is replaced with the number 8, that kind of seems gross.
Why
Yeah.
did I not just say let's stop talking about this and let's just move on? My
so
brain is hurting.
Something else that got canceled was, crap, I just had it up here.
Cash Cab?
Oh, well, Cash Cab did get canceled.
That's
Bored to
sad.
Death. Did you guys ever watch Bored to Death on HBO?
Nope. But it had Zach Galifianakis in it.
Wait, did they cancel Breaking Bad? I'm looking at this list you sent me, Totoro.
Well, Breaking Bad is ending after its next season, so that's probably why it's included.
It was renewed for another season, but it's the final season, and it's going to be longer.
Yeah.
And they knew about it?
Yes.
Okay.
They were negotiating for it.
So, but, yeah, Bored to Death had Jason Schwartzman, Ted Danson, Zach Galifianakis, John Hodgman was in a handful of episodes, Oliver Platt. I think Jenny Slate was in a handful of episodes there for a while, but I didn't. It was in its third season, but it was really funny, and really enjoyed it. But
The River,
obviously,
The River was canceled, and I kind of liked some of that, even though it was terrible in a hilarious way.
I don't remember seeing anything about that one.
It was about a family that was looking for their missing dad/husband that went missing on the Amazon, and then all this supernatural stuff starts happening. It was from the creator of that. God, what are those horror movie series that are all like found footage type things?
Oh, like Oren Peli from Paranormal Activity.
Yes.
I think I remember going to a movie and seeing, like, you know how they do the ones now where they have like the full feature, like they show you previews of upcoming TVs shows and stuff like that.
Yep.
And
yeah,
I think I saw that on one of those.
Yeah, this was created by Oren Peli.
Okay. Well, he's got a new one coming out, I think. No, he's got the new movie coming out that's in Pripyat in the Ukraine.
Chernobyl Diaries.
Yeah, that's right.
What?
It's this. Okay, so Pripyat, the city that was essentially built for the people who worked at like Chernobyl, and I think it was in Modern Warfare. With the one mission.
No. I know.
Okay.
We don't need
the Stalker games.
Okay.
We don't need to talk about Call of Duty here.
Okay. Well, I just remember that because it had the Ferris wheel.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for saving me from that. But anyway, it's it's a horror movie about this group of people who go in there, and then creepy shit starts happening.
Yeah,
quick aside,
it looks kind of cool.
Speaking of Pripyat, and speaking of the Stalker video games, Stalker 2 was canceled.
Oh, was it?
It was.
I'm sorry.
But all of the studio that was making it went, and they're creating this new free-to-play MMO game that looks just like Stalker, only an MMO.
I'll kind of keep my eye on it, but I really would have wanted a Stalker 2. I really love those games.
Would you have liked Stalker with co-op?
I don't know, maybe. We can get back to TV talk, though. Go ahead.
Napoleon Dynamite was canceled.
Yep.
Surprising.
What? What is that?
Napoleon Dynamite?
An animated TV show on Fox.
Really?
Based on Napoleon Dynamite, had all the same actors. It was canceled.
Wow, I can't imagine why.
Yeah,
that's so sad.
A movie that was super popular.
My heart
10 years ago.
I know, gosh.
Seems like a poor decision.
So do you want to talk about Cash Cab being canceled, which is like the only show that I really kind of liked that was canceled?
Well, I don't know if that means that it was actually canceled or if they just decided to stop doing it, or what the heck happened there.
Well, the guy that was the host went on to host some game show on NBC. That could have been it.
Yeah, but yeah,
he got better
Ben
money
Bailey.
there, so he was like, "See ya, Discovery Channel."
Well, he still does stand up, I think. And that dude is like really tall. I think he's like 8'3" or something.
Is that why they always had him sitting down in the car?
Probably.
Or is it because
That's
he was
kind of ridiculous.
driving a car?
One of the other ones that I was kind of disappointed to see go was Prime Suspect, because it was a police procedural, but it was starting to get.
Prime. I was thinking of that other one on CBS with Jim Caviezel and Benjamin Linus.
No, that's Person of Interest, and I have been watching that one, and I would be really upset if that one got canceled as well. That one's pretty good, but a Prime Suspect was just basically a police procedural.
I don't really watch
homicide
those.
detective. There, some of them I like more than others. Like I don't watch. Um, I mean, I'll watch like some Law and Order and stuff like that. But if I don't get an attachment to the characters, even relatively quickly, then I just kind of push them aside. I don't really watch them that much.
Did you watch Eureka? Because that got canceled.
No, I didn't, but I heard that that's really good, and I was thinking about trying to pick that up and like get caught up on the back stuff.
I think it's all on Netflix.
I'm not sure. That may be, but one thing that did get picked up for a final season that I am going to start working my way through is Fringe. I don't know if any of you guys watched that.
I've seen the first 2 seasons, and it was good. It's just for some reason I just never watched it again. But it's really good.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The only TV shows I have been following over the past, I think, year or so are 30 Rock, Game of Thrones, and How I Met Your Mother. I just have not been watching much TV.
Kind of like Bobby Goggles. I don't watch a lot. Well, I've been watching some older TV on Netflix streaming, but recent stuff I only watch Keep Up with Game of Thrones. I stopped watching The Office, 30 Rock, and stuff like that. No, I'll get back to it.
I'll tell you one thing. I've been watching How I Met Your Mother since day one, so I guess it's one of the few that I have got to watch for several seasons.
My wife likes that show.
If they don't get to who the mother is like really fucking soon, or look like they're going to, then I'm gonna be so pissed off.
Is that getting canceled anytime soon?
There's no talk about it getting canceled, but we're on like season 7 or 8.
Well, I mean, based off of what they did with the recent finale, which we won't go into for now because spoilers,
right.
But I mean, it seems like they're going to get to it pretty soon, considering they kind of crossed off someone who is like one of the most likely people in the show.
Right. Well, and the other thing is that the quote unquote the Bob Saget portions. I was going to say the quote unquote current, the portions of the show, but the actual Bob Saget, where he's talking about the stuff. The kids in that, well, it takes place in I think 2030. So they're getting to a point where they have to, have him meet the mother pretty soon. Otherwise, they're getting to the point when those kids will be needing to get born.
Yeah.
You realize that, I was talking to my wife about this show because I only seen it kind of casually. But, like, if they introduce a brand new character, aren't the kids going to be like, why did you tell us all this backstory?
I'm really hoping that when they get to the end and they finally reveal who the mother is, that they're just going to say, "Dad, you can never tell us another story ever again. You're a horrible, you need to learn to get to the point."
That show has Willow from Buffy.
Yep, it has Allison Hannigan in it. Jason Segel's in it. That's the other thing is that eventually they're going to lose like Jason Segel and Neil Patrick Harris. Because, I mean, those guys are going to wind up doing other stuff.
Yeah.
I think Neil Patrick Harris he's going to have a show on the Nerdist YouTube channel.
Is it Dr. Horrible?
I don't think so. I think it might be a magic show. Because I know he's super into magic.
Oh yeah, he's
really
into magic.
Yeah, well, and that shows up in How I Met Your Mother.
Is that real?
He owns like this private magic restaurant place in California that you have to have an invitation or know somebody to actually get into it, and he owns it. It's supposed to be super popular.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'm kind of feeling that if they don't start moving towards, telling who the mother is going to be, which there are a handful of things that they've been kind of hinting at over the past couple seasons, but if it's not in the next season's finale or by next season's finale, then I don't think I don't know that I want to spend that much more time on it.
Well, next season is what, season 8?
I think it's either 8 or 9. I mean, it's getting up there.
Well, I would bet you that they don't go longer than 9 seasons. That's just my gut reaction.
I don't know. I heard people like money.
I heard that too, but I also heard that eventually things kind of start to go to the crapper at some point.
The actors on Supernatural, well, one of the 2 actors said that if they want to bring us back after season 5, they're going to have to back up the Brinks truck, and now just got renewed for season 8. So people like money.
True.
Yeah, well, And the thing is, though, but are they going to get as much money? Are, at a certain point, are they going to keep paying? Jason Segel's probably the one who's looking like he's going to have the biggest movie career of all of them because, I don't feel like any of the other ones are really going on and doing a lot of movie stuff. And not only is he doing movies, he's also, writing. Not only is he acting, he's also doing writing and things like that.
Well, his last movie bombed hard.
I
The
know,
Muppets?
but
No,
5-year engagement.
bombed hard. He made
I
like
haven't even heard of it.
$2 million or something.
It was him and oh shit,
I have no idea.
Him and
Emily Blunt,
Emily Blunt.
Mrs. John Krasinski, which makes me think of something else that I quit watching The Office this year. So
Yeah,
Well,
you too, huh?
I beat you guys because I never started watching The Office.
but then when I found out that Catherine Tate was on it and like as a regular, I was like, oh damn it.
She's that
And it
British lady.
If they would have got David Tennant,
Yes.
then that would have had my interest.
If they had started up beginning of the season and they had hired Ricky Gervais, or if David Brent had been the new manager, I would have kept watching it.
Or if Catherine Tate would have been there with David Tennant, that would have had my interest even more.
No, yeah.
That would be great.
Dakazu, you don't watch Doctor Who.
No,
You have no idea what I'm talking about then.
I don't, but I do know about Arrested Development, and speaking of people that like money, I guess they like money enough to bring that show back.
I
Well,
don't think it was ever up to
yeah,
them
that was never
whether or
money.
not.
The show got
That was Fox hating them.
You guys just hate my transitions.
That was just a terrible, terrible, awful transition because that show got terrible ratings.
I mean, in my defense, I don't know much about the show except I'm watching it now and I'm enjoying it. And you guys told me that it got renewed, and I didn't even know about it until 5 minutes ago.
Yeah,
It
it
I
got,
blame you
brought
guys.
back.
it got brought back. It's going to be on Netflix, and they're also talking about doing a movie. I mean, they said
Yep.
it was supposed to be a TV show and a movie, but now it's looking like the movie might not happen, and they might do more than one season for Netflix.
Really? Because I thought the way it was originally going to happen was they were going to do one season that would lead up to the movie.
Yeah, that's how it sounded, but now there's less and less talk about the movie. But they are
That show
for
is
sure
great.
doing it. It is.
Because they definitely left that show with quite a few open ends in the
No, don't.
last.
I haven't finished it.
Oh,
I'm
no,
not going to
we're
mention them.
That show.
Just saying, a lot of open
That
ends.
show
I'm very close.
is like the most animated GIFs I've ever seen from a TV show.
I've only watched like the first season of it.
What's wrong with you?
so I just haven't had time to get to the other ones.
Did you enjoy it? Like, I didn't.
I thought
I
it was
watched,
one
like,
of the
the
funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I watched the first 4, and I was like, eh. Then I took a long break, and I mean like years. And then I recently started watching it again. I was like, I should not have taken that break. I should just gone for it.
Did you get
Yeah.
when you first watched it? Did you get to Job's magic show?
I did not.
Okay,
Oh my god.
that was so good.
No, recently, I was talking to Kenzo about this, and Kenzo said he liked the show too, but he thought like they kind of overplayed some of the inside jokes a little bit. And I saw one episode where I thought they were kind of forcing it. It's where they go back to the prison, and they have the fundraiser at the prison, and they have the riot, and they replay a lot of the prison jokes, like Job seeing his parents have, get it on. And I thought that was a little forced.
Those aren't inside jokes; they're callbacks.
I think one of my favorite jokes from that show is that there's always money in the banana shack.
There's always been money in the banana stand, yeah.
Her?
That's so funny.
Oh wait, Dakazu probably hasn't gotten to the her. So I'm
No,
gonna stop talking.
Well, I saw an episode. Wait, are you talking about Anne?
Maybe.
Then yes, there is a character named Maybe. You're confusing me.
Maybe.
Mission accomplished.
Anyway, I
Steve
saw
Holt.
I saw the episode where they try to teach each other a lesson, like over and over.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That was really funny. That was like the episode afterwards. And then the last episode I saw was there was kind of out like fourth wall joke about raising money. Did they know they were getting canceled at that point?
And they were like the home box or the home builders organization.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, HBO would never want us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is this season 2, 3 that you're on?
I'm on 3. I'm towards the end of 3.
Yeah, they knew. They were doing like weird commercials and stuff for it too to try to get people to watch. It just wasn't
Oh,
working.
the Burger King one was so funny.
I loved it when they had the little mini town, and then they were like dressed up as like a spaceman and Godzilla, I believe. Wasn't it Godzilla?
No, Tobias dressed up as a mole.
Okay, yeah.
Because he missed, the CIA tried to use him as a mole. And then George Michael had a jetpack. And it was for the Japanese investors.
I love that episode. That was great.
It's a really funny show. I'm really enjoying it. But you said the ratings are bad? That seems unlikely because it was so funny.
That's why shows usually get canceled.
Sad.
They don't renew shows based on quality.
Well, sometimes they bring them back after a while. Right, Bobby Goggles?
Right. For example, shows like Arrested Development and Futurama.
And Jericho?
I've
Are they
still never
bringing
heard of
Jericho
Jericho
back?
before.
Let's talk about Futurama first.
Yeah, Futurama. I've been going through the 2 new seasons. Well, backstory. Futurama, made by Matt Groening. It had around 100 and something episodes. And then it got canceled, and not too long ago they announced there'd be a new series. Well, first they had a series of 1-hour made-for-TV movies, and then they decided to bring it back on Comedy Central. And I'd been going through I'd been going through on Netflix and watching the 2 new seasons, and the first half of the first new season kind of lags a bit, but second half of the first season and the second season are all really great stuff. And it's also kind of interesting seeing how Simpsons has kind of gone downhill, but Futurama is still good, so I just kind of wonder what's sort of going on there.
Well, there hasn't been 50 seasons of Futurama.
That's very true. There's only so many jokes you can make within one kind of structure before you can't make that many more.
Exactly. But I haven't really been watching Futurama.
Maybe you should.
I've watched all of them on Comedy Central, but and I think they've been fine. I mean, they've been funny, they've been entertaining. Are they up to the same level that maybe that the original episodes were? I don't know, but there were. I mean, to me, all that matters is it still entertaining me?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, did you guys? None of you have heard of Jericho?
Isn't that the show about the bomb?
It wasn't just
with Skeet Ulrich.
It wasn't just one bomb, but yeah, it was post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, that was one of the twists.
Yeah, a bunch of nukes went off, and then there was just one town that wasn't affected. Well, it was more than one town, so it was pretty cool. And then the last episode, someone gave him an ultimatum, and then he said into the walkie-talkie, he said nuts. So then the show was canceled, and then all the fans started, and then the show was uncanceled. And then
they're bringing it back.
No, they brought it back for a second season, and then they didn't advertise it, and then they put it on in the middle of the year, like around February or something. No advertising, and then the show got terrible ratings, and then they canceled it again.
So what? So they sent it out to die?
Pretty much.
Yep. That's always fun. It's great when you see stuff get moved to like Sunday night or Friday night.
Yeah, it was too bad. That show was decent. It's on Netflix, I believe.
What are the good late night time slots?
What do you mean, late night?
10 o'clock is supposed to be your...
That's when you can start having racier stuff on, right?
Yeah, well, Did you guys ever watch Southland?
Nope.
That has the guy from Band of Brothers.
Yeah, Michael Cudlitz. He played Babe Heffron. Anyway, but, okay, do you remember back when they had the whole Jay Leno on at 10 o'clock thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Jay Leno left the Tonight Show and then wanted to come back. Okay. When he came back and they put him on at 10 o'clock, they had to cancel a whole bunch of stuff. And I had watched like the first season of Southland at that point, and I thought it was pretty good. And then they canceled it because they didn't have room for it on the schedule anymore. And then TNT picked it up, and then they were replaying some of the old episodes, and I never got to pick it up and watch it again. But I still hold a grudge against Jay Leno because they canceled a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
you should always hold a grudge against Jay Leno. He sucks.
That pretty much killed the Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that thinks Jay Leno is funny. Maybe that's different for some of you guys, but I don't know anyone that enjoys him.
Nope.
Well,
Old
someone
people.
must obviously enjoy him. Like, yeah, maybe old people. I don't know.
I don't think he's getting better ratings than Conan got though.
Oh, who knows? Well, I wish they would have done it in the style of, A Death in the Family, and then shot the loser on live television.
That would have been pretty good.
But
They would let him in
That's
and would have
kind
shot
of-
everyone.
morbid? Yeah, I know. I'm.
Were you waiting
being
for one of us to
facetious
get
of
you?
Yeah. Well, I was like,
Don't expect
I was
X
like-
to call you out on things like this. You are lucky I'm here.
Nope. Shouldn't have said anything.
Totoro. That sounds psychotic. Well, yeah, it does.
I
but no.
approve. Okay, go on.
I remember. I don't remember this, firsthand, but I remember hearing about it. Where they did the thing where Saturday Night Live had the call-in number and people voted on whether or not they wanted Andy Kaufman on the show anymore. They could have done something like that, and I think that would have been kind of interesting.
Well, you could have. You mean like with Batman and Robin? They all voted to kill Jason Todd.
Exactly, a death in the family.
Yeah, I don't think Dakazu got it, so he thought you meant literally kill someone.
So, but did you guys hear about what happened with Community and Dan Harmon?
Yeah, that's awful.
Oh yeah,
That's
Kenzo wanted us to
horrifying.
talk about it. What happened, because I don't follow the show or news
Okay,
or life.
so Dan Harmon, the creator, writer, producer of Community, was basically not, his contract with NBC was not renewed, although the show was renewed.
He was fired.
And they're bringing in. He
What?
was fired. He was fired from his own show,
Yes.
which is complete bullshit.
And he went on his Tumblr blog and said what happened. He got fired. Nobody told him anything was happening, and then just got fired. But
Yep.
because he's a creator, they can't just outright fire him, so he's still going to have some sort of consulting producer credit on the show, so he's still going to get money from it. Which that's good. But
Right,
he's going to have
because,
no
I mean,
say in what happens.
What happened? Like, did they not like his direction? Like,
The
do you guys know anything?
The show is super, super quirky and is not for everyone. And because of that, they probably don't like it. They want the show to be for everyone. It's too smart for its own good.
Basically.
Kind of like Arrested Development.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I definitely would draw that comparison. There's just so much there that it's just so.
I guess the last...
There's just so much that's referential that it's a little bit difficult and dense to get into.
Like there was in the first 3 seasons, there was an ongoing joke. It was super subtle, and they said Beetlejuice once in the first season, then once in the second, and once in the third, and then the third time they said it, Beetlejuice walked by in the background.
That's great.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And I guess the last episode was 8-bit in the style of a video game.
I have a few of them like built up, more than a few of them. A number of them built up on the DVR, and we were watching one last night, and it was the one they did several weeks ago now, but it was all in the style of Law and Order.
You guys don't happen... Wait, sorry. Do you guys don't happen to know what episode that Beetlejuice thing is, right?
Well, you'd have to watch the first
they're-
3 seasons. Because they don't do it instantly. They do it. They say Beetlejuice once in the entire first season, and then once in the second season, and then once in the third.
I'm actually asking for my wife.
There are animated GIFs out there
There are.
Okay.
And
that show it,
YouTube.
but- yes, but no, I mean, but this I was just watching this one, and they did it all in this. From the credits, we're all in the style of Law and Order. And they just do so much funny shit. And like a few weeks before that, they did the whole thing with the pillow fort and the blankets, and they did it in the style of a Ken Burns documentary.
Did you see the episode where the dean was directing the new commercial for the school?
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing.
That one was really good.
Oh, I saw that episode actually. Like at the beginning, they had the old commercial for the school. It has Nathan Barnett in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super 80s.
Yes.
Yeah, but then the character Joel McHale started acting like the Dean, like perfectly, and the Dean loved it. And then he went power hungry, and it was great. I think that's my favorite episode that I've seen. I haven't seen them all though.
So, what's gonna happen with the show?
Well,
Are you guys worried?
Well, it has two new showrunners, and it doesn't have the original creator of it that's going to be there supervising anymore. So yeah, I would say that's reason to be worried.
Very much cause for concern. I mean, I don't sit down and watch it religiously, but I mean, when I sit down and I do get a chance to watch it, I always enjoy it, and it's never not funny. So I mean, it's
Never Not Funny is the name of a pretty good podcast. But yeah, Community is great. Someday I'm going to watch it all.
And I think they also announced that they're moving it to Friday.
Yep. I guess it's going to be on before Grimm.
Which is the...
It's the Grimm fairy tales.
Right, no. What was on before that now, as it is?
I know Chuck was on before it, but that was a long time ago. So I have
That's
no idea.
another show that I'm kind of surprised that that kind of ran for as long as it did. That was perpetually looking like it was going to get.
It was always the final season.
Yeah, it was always potentially the final season until this time they said, okay, you know what, we're not doing this again. I didn't watch the last half of the season either, so
they kept renewing it, and then for 13 episodes, and so they would say, okay, this is the final 13 episodes. So then they would make a series finale, and then it would get renewed for more episodes. So then they had to add on to the series finales. There's like 5 series finales, and then the one that ended up being the series finale was, I did not see that coming.
I've not seen it yet, so I'm gonna wait and like get it on Netflix DVD or something. That's the other thing. How much do you guys think that people waiting to watch stuff on DVD affects, what gets canceled and what doesn't?
Well, if people are watching the shows, it's less likely to get canceled, so I would say that affects it.
Well, and is there anything that you guys just wait for stuff to come out on DVD and get it, either buy it or get it from Netflix or anything like that? Or do you just try and like consume it as it comes out?
Bobby Goggles, why don't you go first?
I don't think he's going to go first. I used to do that with 24. I hated watching 24 episode by episode, but it was entertaining when you would watch it all in one big chunk. 1 or 2 big chunks, I should say. Or 3. Over the course of a week.
It took me forever to finish Lost, so I would say yes. Like, I would much rather prefer to sit down and watch and consume my media, like, without having to wait. There's enough media and things that I watch or read, that mostly read, but things that I'm waiting on for, like, new things to come out that I can read. Bobby Goggles, do you want to comment on things that do you like waiting as well?
I think it varies for me depending on what I'm watching. Sometimes when it's stuff like Game of Thrones, which, I mean, I've read the books already, so I kind of know what's going to happen, so I don't really have to worry about being spoiled. But if it's something where the plot's really important, or something where I'm just really involved in the show, then I'll keep up with it. But there are other cases where it's like, if I'm reading something like a manga or a book series, I prefer to just sort of read all of it at once.
So will you actually wait until something is completely done and like the series is over? There's like, they're saying, okay, we're ending at issue 100 or episode 100 or what have you, or will you?
I think it really depends for me, because it's like it depends how much I like the series and what format it is. And I don't really know how I decided. I think there's just some I'm more comfortable with consuming all at once, and some I like to consume over time. Like manga, I'm willing to consume it over time, but I prefer to just have first thing, last thing, and just consume it all at once. Novels, it depends how far along in the series it is. If they're already, if there's only maybe one book and it releases in like a month or so, I'll just wait till that comes out and then read it all at once. It kind of just depends from thing to thing, but so I don't really have any one pattern in general.
Well, I think it depends on, like you said, the show. It's like I know that when I sat down and I finally watched Game of Thrones, I think I had the better part of like the whole series like stacked up on my DVR. And Mrs. Totoro and I just kind of sat down and watched it, kind of the whole way through. I think with something like that, to where you have like a whole bunch of different characters, going week to week, it might be a little bit more difficult to kind of keep track a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for something where you have to keep track of a lot of characters, I'd definitely say if I have to keep track of a lot of characters, or if I'm really worried about being spoiled, then I'm more likely to just finish as much of it as soon as possible.
Well, I know one of the things that I have been kind of gotten into the habit of, especially those like 1 hour dramas that like it takes like Mrs. Totoro and I like that we both have, that we both have an interest in, like something like Chuck. We would sit down and we would wait until we had, 5, 6, 7 of them, and we would try and knock them out on like some Saturday when we didn't have a lot going on.
That show's over, right?
That show is over now. They just finished it up, I think, at the end of 2011, and I didn't watch the last 6 episodes, so I don't know how it ended. But Person of Interest is kind of the same way for me. I like to sit down and watch a number of those at a time. But I don't know. It just depends.
I think it's sad though that if people are now consuming media this way, but the TV companies and like all the studios, like they still go by those stupid like viewer rating things.
Nielsen ratings, which isn't accurate in any way.
Yeah, it's like that is so dated at this point, but they still go by those. It's so dumb.
It's only those ratings are based on people that have Nielsen boxes, and there's so few people that actually have them that there's no possible way it can be accurate.
I feel like we're starting to reach a turning point where the way that they decide how popular a show is, or
you mean the people who don't understand the internet are dying,
yes,
and the new generation is moving into those positions.
Yeah, they're all kind of moving into the position where they are inside of a.
Well, there's still a problem with just not. It's not just as simple as not knowing the internet. It's how do you monetize the shows that you put on the internet? Do you do it with ads or do you sell it?
Well, and one thing that I've been going back through and listening to a bunch of old Nerdist podcasts, and one of the ones that I listened to last week actually had John Hamm on it, and he was actually talking about how at AMC they really feel like the Nielsen ratings are kind of outdated, and what they go on is more like I think it's a metric called cultural penetration, which kind of sounds funny, and it makes
dirty,
freshman boys kind of snicker. So, but I kind of find that interesting. But yeah, I think it is. I think that TV or really any serialized kind of medium is still trying to find its way in this kind of more digital world in which we live in. I mean, even I think movies are still trying to figure out how exactly they want to do everything. But whereas I think the only medium that's really kind of gotten there is in the digital age is music. They know what's going on.
Well, I would say PC games with Steam are doing pretty well.
And maybe it's just that there's no really good platform that works for it, particularly well.
I mean, I think the main issue is they're concerned about piracy, but there's going to be piracy no matter what. You just have to offer something better than what the pirates are offering, and nobody does that. I mean, like with Hulu, if you get the Hulu Plus and you pay for it, you still get ads.
Yeah, I hate that about my Hulu Plus. It's really annoying.
Well, and if I could, I would pay, $15 or $20 a month for Hulu if I didn't get ads, and if I could, assign like a device to it, like say my iPad, and digitally download all of the episodes that I wanted to watch, for as much as it could have all the DRM on it that I would want. At that point I wouldn't care. But if I kind of going back to where we were talking about, the Diablo 3 thing, always being online, if I could just put it on my iPad and take it with me when I go on a plane trip, that way I could have all of that media right there, because I mean I've essentially bought a subscription to it, but I can't use it the way that I want.
So you like the ultraviolet digital copies then?
Oh God,
because those are you can stream or you can download.
Well, yeah, I've never used any of that, so I mean, I didn't realize that that's what it could. But I always see that, and it's like, oh God, what in the hell is this? This is yet another competing standard, because they have just the straight up, digital copies that they include on discs and stuff.
Yeah, it's like iTunes. That's great.
Yeah. Okay, so Ultraviolet works with iTunes?
It doesn't work with iTunes. It's a separate app, but it lets you download.
But you can import the digital media file into iTunes.
No, you go to the Ultraviolet website and you put in the code, and then it links it to your account so you can stream it, or you can click the button for download.
But what you download, you can't import into
no,
iTunes
it's on
put on an
no,
iPad.
it's on Ultraviolet. But I believe Ultraviolet is also Voodoo, I think, so you can access that on your like PS3 and 360, I think.
Do they have Voodoo apps for the PS3 now?
They've had a Voodoo app for PS3 before 360. They've had it for years.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
It's pretty good. But we should wrap up.
Well, is there any other like TV series anyone wants to mention? I have one. Bobby Goggles?
That's been canceled? Just ever? Or in like the past year?
Yes, pertaining to the topic we've been talking about canceled TV shows and stuff like that.
Well, I think over the past number of years, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that was canceled that I didn't want to see canceled.
Well, you brought up Arrested Development. How about Firefly?
I feel like Firefly is just kind of
beating a dead horse.
Yeah, at some point, yeah. I mean, it's not coming back. It was canceled before its time. It got a movie. I mean, and Joss Whedon now made Marvel Avengers and he made lots of money on that movie.
He can make anything he wants now.
Yeah.
Basically.
I wish the Clerks animated cartoon wasn't canceled.
Did you
guys ever see that?
I did.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
There was a TV show
I
used to watch a long time ago that I remember nothing about other than its name, and it was called Freaky Links.
Oh, that had Ethan Embry in it.
Did it? Like I said, I remember nothing.
I think so.
I think the TV show, there's a book series I read, it's called The Dresden Files, and they had a one-season run on Sci-Fi Channel, and I don't even know exactly why it got canceled. I think it even got decent ratings. I think it was just something where, like, the execs or whatever didn't like it, and there was a huge petition to try and get another season, but it never came, so now I've got the season 1 box set of a TV show version of a book series I read.
I think that's on Netflix.
I think so too.
I think I see it popping up all the time for me. Netflix wants me to watch it.
Yeah, if I could magically have a second season of anything or an additional season of anything, I think I'd go back and I'd want a second season of Freaks and Geeks.
I think I'd go with Angel. But I've heard great things about Freaks and Geeks. It's a show that I've always been meaning to watch.
I loved everything about that show. It kind of hits, it hits the nail on the head for me as far as, what it's like to be a geek.
But a freak.
Growing up. And freaks not so much. Because in that show, like the freaks, quote unquote freaks, were like the burnouts, or the people that they considered to be burnouts and things like that.
Seth Rogen was in that, right?
But, man, who wasn't in that show? You had Linda Cardellini, you had Seth Rogen, Jason Segel, James Franco, and then you had they were the freaks. The geeks were Martin Starr, John Francis Daley, and Sam Levine.
Sam Levine is pretty good.
So
I've recognized some of those people.
Yeah, and John Francis Daley is on Bones now, and Martin Starr is doing all sorts of stuff.
And Seth Rogen is one of the biggest movie stars in the world.
And Jason Segel is doing a lot of stuff, and so is James Franco.
James Franco was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it was a really good show. It was really well written. It was like one of the original Judd Apatow things that I remember.
Wasn't there also another show by them? Undeclared.
Undeclared.
Adam Sandler was in an episode of that.
Yep. him and some of his buddies, they were playing, I think, themselves.
Maybe one of the Farley
But,
brothers.
Fairly.
Chris Farley.
But that one was actually, oh, yeah. What's his brother's name? I can never remember.
I think he might have been in it.
Not Chris.
Yes, not
All right,
Chris.
we're gonna
But
move on.
That was Jay Baruchel in that one. Anyway, go ahead.
We're gonna talk about Kenzo's Moviebox pick.
Do we have to? So I did not like it.
I did not like it either.
Totoro?
I did not like it to the point that I did not finish it.
Dakazu?
Yeah, I didn't like it. You know what? Did you Bobby Goggles? Did you guys finish it?
I did. I watched all of it.
I did.
I would really have
did
not have been surprised if some of us, more than Totoro, did not finish that.
I think I got to the point where where the girl that Kel Penn's character had invited to the party was taping it, and the guy at the door was freaking out and shit, and I was like,
You didn't get very far.
I'm done. It just nothing. I didn't feel any connection to the characters. I felt like I could see the tropes that they were going to.
Oh, the name of the movie is Dude, Where's the Party? AKA, Where's the Party?
Well, Where's the Party? Yaar, and Yaar is Indian for dude.
Yeah. So, but I felt like I could see some of the plot a mile down the road, and I was like, okay, some of it at the beginning seemed really
okay. Well, since you didn't watch it, what do you think happened?
Well, I have to think that Kel Penn's character ended up with the one chick, and I think that the cousin Hari came over that was going after the Priya chick. I'm guessing that he did not get her, and he winds up going back to India.
No, he didn't get her, but he got somebody else because it turned out her name
gotcha.
was Supriya.
Oh,
So it didn't.
Did not start with a P,
It did not.
like the guy told him.
And then he found somebody that did start with a P.
Oh.
So you didn't see it
I
coming.
want Bobby
Total twist.
What a twist.
I want Bobby Goggles' take on why he did not like this movie.
Give us the Bobby Goggles take.
I've actually been to India, and via a few family friends, I know a few people who are Bollywood actors.
Cool.
Yeah. And even still, this film wasn't even really a Bollywood film, and I've seen a lot
It's
of
not.
Bollywood films. It's not. It was.
It didn't really seem like a parody. It seemed like it almost wanted to be a parody, but it wasn't to me.
I don't know how to describe it because it tried to go in so many different directions. It felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be. It didn't know if it was going for the parody, if it was going for the serious, if it was going for the cultural send up of people coming from India to live in America, or if it was going for the send up of American culture. It seemed like it was trying to be a lot of things and didn't know what it really wanted to do.
I thought there was no way I could relate to the movie at all. I mean, I didn't think the movie was just completely unwatchable or anything. It's just I couldn't relate. There was no in for me. There was no character that was supposed to represent me. So everything that was supposed to be funny, it just all felt like inside jokes.
Kenzo, who picked this movie, he said he knows people. He has Indian friends who are, some of the characters in the movie, and that's why it's funny to him. So I think that relatability is huge. A good point of comparison might be My Bad Greek Wedding. That movie was
funny.
Robot.
Yeah, and you're also a robot. But that was funny.
But
I had a hard time relating to a lot of that stuff.
Who wasn't Greek marrying into a Greek family?
Yeah, but that was also about a bunch of Greek stereotypes and the family members were quirky and
but
different.
The guy that wasn't Greek was the in for everybody watching the movie that wasn't someone to relate
I see
to.
What you're saying. Right.
And this didn't have that.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like they tried to make who's the actor that tends to play Kumar Kalpen?
Yeah.
Kalpen, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they tried to make him that at some points, but didn't really do the greatest job of doing that.
No, not at all.
Kalpen can be a funny guy, and the only kind of funny scene was him at the convenience store.
He was pretty good in an episode of Angel. He was in an episode of Angel, by the way.
He was also in Superman Returns. He was a bad guy. He's also on House.
He plays weird bit parts.
He was really good on House.
He's also Kumar.
Which is getting canceled. Oh, God.
But you can't complain about a show getting canceled after like 8 seasons.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I did not like the movie. It was completely unrelatable, and the jokes all fell flat.
Yep.
And
I think we're all in agreement.
And those actors that got to play the teachers were awful. That was some of the worst acting I have ever seen. Teachers that were talking to them, did you not remember them in the movie?
I didn't even notice them.
Like the guy that was talking to, what's his face? Kumar Kalpen? He was talking to him, and he was like, so what's going to be your major? And he was talking to him, saying how he was undeclared, so he was taking everything. That teacher that was talking to him was awful.
Yeah. I don't really want to talk about the level of acting in a lot of people.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I think we all agree that we didn't like it, and that relatability is a huge issue.
Yeah,
and also what Bobby Goggle says, like film is kind of in a multi-direction.
Well, I don't think this movie. I don't think we're the target audience for this movie.
Yeah, not for me. It was. I was going to say I don't feel like it was for me. So
not for me.
But
yeah,
I don't feel like it was for me. But even what I was saying earlier. I mean, just looking at it from an objective standpoint, I don't even know if, as someone from that culture, what it was trying to be for them.
Kenzo said his Indian friends think it's hilarious because they're laughing at all the stereotypes.
I guess
probably because they can relate.
He said, I think he said that he knows people that are exactly like every character in the movie. That's what he said.
So he has an in that he can relate through real world experience.
Or he's super racist and thinks everyone is a stereotype.
Or maybe we're not laughing because we can't, look past, we don't want to seem inappropriate laughing at these stereotypes. I don't know.
No, I'd laugh if it was funny.
Yeah, I come from a family which is, we'll laugh at just about anything, and I did not find it funny.
So, in conclusion, it wasn't funny.
Well, in conclusion, we didn't like it. It wasn't for us.
So, who is up next for the Darfox said that he enjoyed the movie.
Wait, what?
Darfox liked it.
Did he say, what he liked about it?
He did. He posted it in the thread.
Can you find that real quick?
I can.
And if you watched it and you liked it and you want to tell us why we're wrong about it, shoot us an email at podcast@alltalkpodcast.com or send it to us on Twitter at alltalkpodcast.
Thanks. I keep forgetting to mention that at the end of the podcast.
No problem. I figured while we were here and while X was, I don't know if he was going to go look that up.
Okay, Totoro.
What Darfox was saying.
Totoro, you like doing impressions of people. Do your best Darfox impression and read this.
Oh my God, yes. Dude, do it now.
No, I'm not. I like Darfox too much.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we like or dislike the people we're doing impressions of. You do the impressions.
So now I'm the Adam Fitch of this podcast.
Yes, just do it.
Yes.
I don't even
do it. Just read it.
Hello, my name is Darfox. I was shocked how good this movie was. No, I'm not going to do this.
No, just do it. Keep going.
Do it.
Not that it's the best movie ever, but I was only so into the first 20 or so minutes. The rest were great. I liked the plight of the FOBs, and I hated the annoying self-hating villains who didn't want FOBs in the party. As far as criticism goes, I noticed a few things looking directly into the camera, along with the few gags that were slightly half-hearted. Besides that, the only thing that I'm going into a serious Borat. This is so bad.
I think you're going into Indian as well.
Yeah, I'm going my brain. But anyway, he says besides that, the only thing that wasn't tops with this movie was the fact that I'm not familiar with the Indian culture and the way it mixes with American. I mean, you don't need to be an expert to enjoy this film, but sometimes it seemed some things would be way funnier if I was more familiar with this stuff. And then he says that tiny dude was awesome.
That was great, Totoro.
So I'm so sorry, Dar. They made me do it.
I think you need to apologize to accents.
I need to apologize to everyone. I'm so sorry.
not even sure what kind of
This
accent
is the
that
greatest
was.
podcast we've ever done.
I don't know. This is. I feel so dirty now.
I just want to cut the. I just want to cut that.
You
That.
want to cut the rest out and just have that?
Yeah, like we can't top this.
Okay, I think who's the next movie? Is it Troll? Does he have next pick?
It is Troll. I have his movie box pick. Trolls movie box pick is Renaissance.
I like the Renaissance.
Well, this one is an animated film starring Daniel Craig.
Is it animated? I thought it was like Sin City styled green screened.
Rotoscope.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's completely rotoscope.
You know, I studied a lot of Renaissance history when I was in college, so we'll see how this goes.
Well, I asked him
Animated
about
film
it. He
the
owns it.
Renaissance.
Sorry.
So is this on Netflix and streaming?
It was last week when I checked it, and it is no longer. It seems.
So
That
what you're
sucks.
saying is this is all your fault.
I guess so, but it is his pick, and so I guess I'm gonna have to set up my Netflix queue. Yeah, it says it's an animated sci-fi thriller set in Paris in the year 2054. A mega corporation known as Avalon dominates the landscape of contemporary life, selling eternal youth and beauty to a citizenry, that's not my word, that's their word, that's all too willing to consume. When a promising young Avalon scientist is kidnapped, the company hires top detective Bartholomew Karras, voiced by Daniel Craig, to find her. But as he investigates, Karras discovers a dwindling tale of misses. Ooh.
I think if they hired Professor Layton to find the scientist, that would make this movie 10 times even more interesting.
You know, after Where's the Party Yaar, I'm ready for anything.
Anything? 'Cause I have some movie box
Why
picks
the-
in mind
No,
when we get back
God
to
damn it,
May.
why did I say that out loud?
I have some good picks in mind in that case.
Why me and my big mouth?
Okay, I think that's it. We should wrap up.
Okay, I will wrap up. I want to thank RobotGoggle and special guest Tumble for joining us this week. If you like this podcast, please donate to the Mumble server, where the Geekbox Mumble server, where we record and hang out and play Diablo 3. Also, don't forget to listen to the other Geekbox podcasts, including the Geekbox, Comics Conspiracy, Good Job Brain, Comedy Buddy. And if you'd like to be on this podcast, you can join the Mumble server and ask us, or you can PM us on the Geekbox forums. You can PM either me, Dakazu, Mr. X, or Totoro at forums.geekbox.net. And that just about wraps it up. I love you.
I know.